Have you ever caught someone acting a little differently around you? Maybe a little nervous, extra attentive, or just too invested in your life? If you're wondering whether a guy secretly has feelings for you, the signs are often there, hidden in his small actions and subtle behaviors. Love isn't always expressed through grand gestures or dramatic confessions. Sometimes, it's found in the way someone looks at you, remembers tiny details, or goes out of their way to make you smile. Men, especially when they have deep feelings for someone, often struggle to express their emotions directly. Instead, their love is revealed in little ways, like texting you randomly just to check in, recalling things you said weeks ago, or subtly getting jealous when you mention other guys. These are all subconscious ways of showing they care without actually saying the words out loud. If you've ever wondered, does he like me more than just a friend? You're not alone. Many people find themselves questioning these small signals, trying to decode what's really going on beneath the surface. One of the biggest giveaways that a guy is secretly in love with you is how much effort he puts into staying connected. Does he send you memes that remind him of you? Does he bring up inside jokes or past conversations as if he treasures them? If he's constantly trying to engage with you in some way, whether through social media, texts, or real-life interactions, it's a strong sign that he enjoys having you in his life and thinks about you even when you're not around. Another major clue is how much he notices about you. Most people don't pay attention to small details, but if he remembers the way you like your coffee, notices when you change your hairstyle, or compliments something as small as your choice of earrings, it means he's observing you closely. His attention to these minor details shows that he values you and finds you fascinating in ways that others might overlook. Of course, actions speak louder than words. A guy who secretly loves you will always find excuses to be around you, whether it's offering to help you with something, sitting next to you whenever possible, or casually mentioning future plans with you in them. He may not say, "I love you" outright, but his consistent presence in your life is a way of showing that he wants to be close to you. If you're still unsure about his feelings, pay attention to his body language and the way he reacts when other guys come up in conversation. If he tenses up, changes the subject, or even playfully teases you about it, there's a good chance he's feeling protective, or even a little jealous. In this guide, we'll go through the key signs that a guy is secretly in love with you. If you recognize multiple signs from this list, there's a strong chance his feelings are deeper than he's letting on. Let's dive in and uncover the truth. 1. He texts or calls you randomly without any reason. When a guy constantly texts or calls you without any specific reason, it's a strong indication that you're on his mind. He doesn't need an excuse. He just wants to hear from you, even if it's about something trivial. This could mean he sends a random "What's up?" or "Did you see that funny meme?" message, just to keep the conversation going. It's not about the topic, it's about staying connected. People don't invest time in someone unless they genuinely care. If he's initiating conversations, especially when there's no urgent reason to, it means he enjoys talking to you and wants to be a part of your daily life. Even if he's not naturally a talkative person, he'll find ways to start a conversation, whether through a joke, a question, or even an unnecessary check-in, like, "Did you reach home safely?" Another key thing to notice is when he texts or calls. If it's during odd hours, like late at night or early in the morning, it could mean that you're the last person on his mind before he sleeps and the first one he thinks about when he wakes up. If he suddenly remembers something funny that happened days ago and shares it with you, it means he's been mentally associating moments of his life with you, even when you're not around. Also, his responses to your texts matter. If he replies instantly or keeps the conversation going instead of letting it die out, he's making an effort. He might even double text if he doesn't get a reply from you. This shows he's eager for your attention and values your presence in his life. However, it's also important to differentiate between casual texting and genuine interest. If he only messages when he's bored but disappears when he's busy, that's different. But if he makes time for you despite a hectic schedule, it's a clear sign that you hold a special place in his thoughts. 2. He brings up old conversations you had together. When a guy brings up old conversations you had together, it's a clear sign that he not only remembers what you say, but also values those moments. People don't recall random discussions unless they meant something to them. If he's mentioning things you talked about days, weeks, or even months ago, it means those words stuck with him, and he has been thinking about them. This could happen in different ways. He might remind you of a joke you once shared, saying something like, "Remember when you said that hilarious thing about coffee?" Or he might bring up a serious topic such as, "You once told me you wanted to travel to Greece. Do you still plan on going?" When he does this, he's not just making conversation. He's showing that he listens to you and cares about your thoughts, dreams, and experiences. Bringing up past conversations also indicates emotional investment. If he remembers small details like your favorite movie, the way you take your coffee, or a story about your childhood, it means he pays attention. Most people forget casual discussions quickly, but if he's recalling things you said long ago, it suggests that those moments left an impression on him. It's his way of subtly telling you that you matter. Another reason he might do this is to create a sense of familiarity and comfort between you. By referencing shared experiences, he's strengthening your bond and making your interactions feel more personal. He might even test your memory by saying, "Let's see if you remember what I told you last time about my dream job," as a playful way to engage with you. Sometimes he could also bring up past conversations to see if anything has changed. For example, if you once mentioned you don't believe in love, and he later asks, "Do you still think love isn't real?" It could mean he's hoping your feelings have evolved, possibly because he's interested in you. Ultimately, when a guy keeps referring to past conversations, it's not random. It's his way of showing that he values your words, cherishes your time together, and maybe, just maybe, can't stop thinking about you. 3. He watches your social media stories first. When a guy consistently watches your social media stories first, it's not just a coincidence. It's a strong sign that he's keeping an eye on you. Social media gives people subtle ways to show interest, and being one of the first viewers of your stories suggests he's actively looking out for your updates. Most social media platforms, like Instagram and Snapchat, don't show stories in a completely random order. The algorithm prioritizes people you interact with the most, but if he's always at the top, it could mean he either engages with your profile frequently or searches for your stories specifically. If he's always one of the first to view your updates, it's a sign that he's curious about what's happening in your life. This becomes even more obvious if he doesn't just watch, but also reacts to your stories. If he replies with a comment, emoji, or even just a "haha, that's funny," it's his way of starting a conversation without making it too obvious. He might use your stories as an excuse to talk to you, especially if he struggles to find other ways to initiate a conversation. Another thing to notice is whether he watches all your stories, even the less interesting ones. If he's always there, even when you post something simple like a picture of your coffee or a random sunset, it means he's genuinely interested in your life. Casual viewers might check your stories once in a while, but someone who's consistently watching, even the little things, has a deeper level of interest. Also, pay attention to whether he interacts differently with your content compared to others. Does he react more to your pictures, especially selfies? Does he comment when you post something personal? If he engages with your posts while ignoring similar content from others, it's a clear sign that he's focused on you. Some guys may try to play it cool and avoid liking or commenting too much, but their presence in your story viewers exposes them. If he's always showing up at the top, chances are he's thinking about you more than he admits. 4. He remembers small details about you. When a guy remembers small details about you, it's a clear indication that he truly listens and values what you say. Most people forget minor things unless they hold some significance for them. If he recalls random facts, like your favorite ice cream flavor, the name of your childhood pet, or how you like your coffee, it means he's paying close attention to even the smallest aspects of your life. This kind of attentiveness is rare, especially in casual conversations. Many people listen just to respond, but if he's actively remembering details about you, it's because he genuinely cares. For example, if you casually mentioned months ago that you love sunflowers, and one day he surprises you with one, or even sends you a picture of sunflowers saying, "Thought of you," it's a clear sign that he associates those things with you. Sometimes, he might bring up small details in unexpected ways. Maybe you once mentioned that you love a specific movie, and later, he suggests watching it together. Or perhaps you told him about an upcoming event you were nervous about, and he follows up by asking, "Hey, how did your meeting go?" These little things may seem insignificant, but they show that he not only listens, but also keeps you in his thoughts. Another thing to notice is how effortlessly he recalls details. If he brings up something you don't even remember telling him, it means he's been mentally storing information about you without even trying. It's a subconscious sign that he values your presence and wants to understand you better. This kind of attention to detail also creates a sense of emotional connection. When someone remembers things about you that even close friends forget, it makes you feel special. It shows that you're not just another person in his life. You're someone who truly matters to him. Ultimately, when a guy remembers the little things about you, it's not by accident. It's because he's genuinely invested in you and wants to show you, in his own subtle way, that you're important to him. 5. He finds excuses to be around you. When a guy finds excuses to be around you, it's a strong sign that he enjoys your presence and wants to spend more time with you, whether or not he admits it. People naturally gravitate toward those they like, and if he's constantly coming up with reasons to be near you, it's because he can't help but want to be in your space. One of the most obvious ways he does this is by showing up where you are. If he suddenly starts frequenting the coffee shop you love, joins a group activity you're part of, or, coincidentally, ends up in places you go, it's likely not random. He's making an effort to cross paths with you, hoping to have more interactions and build a deeper connection. Another way he makes excuses to be around you is by offering help, even when it's unnecessary. Maybe you mention needing help with something minor, like carrying a few things, fixing a small issue, or choosing between two outfits, and he jumps in to assist. He may not need to be involved, but he sees it as a perfect opportunity to be close to you and show that he's dependable. You might also notice that he prolongs conversations or creates reasons to keep talking. Instead of ending a discussion naturally, he might ask random follow-up questions, crack another joke, or bring up an unrelated topic just to keep you engaged. He's in no hurry to leave because every extra second spent with you matters to him. Some guys will even go as far as making subtle plans just to see you. If he invites you to group outings or suggests casual hangouts that somehow always involve you, it's likely that being around you is his main goal. He might also mention vague plans, like, "We should totally check out that new place sometime," to see if you're interested in spending time with him. Ultimately, when a guy finds excuses to be around you, he's creating opportunities to strengthen the bond between you. He may not always come right out and say how he feels, but his actions make it clear. He wants to be close to you, and he's doing everything he can to make that happen. 6. He gets jealous when you mention other guys. When a guy gets jealous when you mention other guys, it's a strong indicator that he has feelings for you, even if he tries to hide it. Jealousy is a natural reaction when someone feels protective or possessive about a person they care about. If he likes you, the thought of you being interested in someone else will likely make him uncomfortable, and his body language, tone, or reaction will give it away. One of the most obvious signs of jealousy is a sudden shift in his mood. If he was laughing and joking a moment ago, but suddenly becomes quiet or distant when you bring up another guy, it's because he doesn't like hearing about someone else in your life. He might not say anything directly, but his energy will change, and he may seem less engaged in the conversation. Sometimes, instead of going quiet, he'll try to downplay or dismiss the guy you mentioned. He might say things like, "Oh, he doesn't seem like your type," or "I don't get what's so great about him." This is his subtle way of expressing disapproval or reassuring himself that he still has a chance with you. Another way jealousy manifests is through playful teasing or sarcasm. If he jokingly says, "Oh wow, should I be worried about this guy?" or "sounds like someone has a crush," he may be using humor to mask his real feelings. He might act like he's not bothered, but deep down, he's paying attention to how you respond. In some cases, a jealous guy will try to shift the focus back to himself. If you talk about another guy, he may suddenly start mentioning his own achievements, strengths, or even hint that he's a better option. This is his way of subconsciously competing for your attention, hoping you'll see him in a more attractive light. If his jealousy is more intense, he might even start talking about other girls to see how you react. This is his way of testing whether you feel the same way about him. He wants to know if you'll show a hint of jealousy too, which would confirm that you're equally interested. Ultimately, if he gets jealous when you mention other guys, it's because he sees you as someone special. Even if he hasn't confessed his feelings, his reactions reveal that he doesn't like the idea of losing you to someone else. 7. He sends you memes, songs, or things that remind him of you. When a guy sends you memes, songs, or anything that reminds him of you, it's a clear sign that you're on his mind even when you're not around. Sharing content is a subtle yet meaningful way for him to stay connected with you, spark conversations, and create an emotional bond without making it obvious that he likes you. One of the most common ways he does this is by sending memes or funny videos. If he frequently sends you things that match your sense of humor, it shows that he not only remembers what makes you laugh, but also wants to be the reason behind your smile. Even if the meme has nothing to do with you, it's his way of keeping the conversation going and making sure he stays on your radar. If he sends you songs, it's an even stronger sign of emotional connection. Music is deeply personal, and when he shares a song with you, it could be because the lyrics remind him of you, or it simply gives off a vibe that makes him think of you. If he ever says, "This song reminded me of you," or "I think you'd love this," it means he's associating his thoughts of you with music, something people don't do unless they have real feelings. Sometimes, he might send random things that relate to past conversations. For example, if you once told him that you love a particular TV show or a specific type of coffee, and he later sends you a meme about it, it shows that he remembers the little things you say. It's his way of showing that he listens and values what you share with him. Another sign to look out for is if he uses what he sends as an excuse to talk to you. Instead of just messaging, "Hey," which could feel too direct or obvious, he might send a funny video and say, "This is so you," or "I can totally see you doing this." This gives him an easy way to start a conversation without making it feel forced. Ultimately, when a guy sends you memes, songs, or other things that remind him of you, he's not just being friendly. He's letting you know, in a subtle way, that you're on his mind and that he enjoys sharing his world with you. 8. He compliments you often, even on small things. When a guy compliments you often, even on small things, it's a strong indication that he admires you and wants you to feel special. Compliments aren't just about stating the obvious. They're a way of expressing attraction, appreciation, and even affection. If he's consistently noticing and pointing out things about you, especially the little details, it means he's paying close attention and genuinely likes what he sees. One of the most telling signs is when his compliments go beyond just looks. While it's common to hear things like, "You look beautiful," or "I love your smile," if he also appreciates your intelligence, humor, or personality, it shows a deeper level of interest. If he says, "I love how passionate you are about your work," or "You always know how to make people feel comfortable," it means he admires you for who you are, not just how you look. Another clue is when he compliments you on things that most people don't notice. Maybe he tells you, "You have the cutest way of laughing," or "I love how you always add a little extra spice to your food." These kinds of compliments prove that he's paying attention to your unique habits and traits, things that only someone who truly observes you would notice. Some guys also use playful or indirect compliments to express their feelings. Instead of saying, "You're so smart," he might tease you with something like, "How do you always know the answer to everything?" These subtle remarks allow him to compliment you without making it too obvious that he likes you. The frequency of his compliments matters too. If he finds excuses to praise you often, even when you're not dressed up or doing anything special, it's a strong indicator that he genuinely enjoys admiring you. A guy who constantly finds reasons to say something nice is someone who truly appreciates your presence. Ultimately, when a guy compliments you often, especially on small things, he's not just being polite, he's showing you that he sees and values you in a way that others might not. It's his way of making sure you know just how special you are to him. 9. He gets nervous or fidgety around you. When a guy gets nervous or fidgety around you, it's a strong sign that he has feelings for you and wants to make a good impression. Nervousness is a natural reaction when someone is around a person they admire, and even if he tries to hide it, his body language and small habits will likely give it away. One of the most obvious signs of nervousness is fidgeting. He might play with his hands, adjust his shirt, tap his fingers, or keep touching his hair. These small, restless movements are subconscious ways to release nervous energy, showing that he's overthinking his actions because he cares about how you perceive him. Another common sign is stumbling over words or speaking faster than usual. If he normally talks smoothly with others but suddenly trips over his words, stutters, or rushes through sentences when speaking to you, it means he's feeling a bit anxious. His mind is likely racing, trying to say the right thing while also managing his emotions. You might also notice that he avoids eye contact or looks away quickly when you catch him staring. While confident guys might hold eye contact longer, a nervous guy will sometimes glance at you and then quickly look away because he's afraid of being too obvious about his feelings. However, if he keeps stealing glances at you when he thinks you're not looking, it's a strong sign that he can't help but admire you. Another nervous reaction is awkward laughter or unnecessary jokes. If he laughs at things that aren't that funny or cracks random jokes when talking to you, it's his way of coping with nervousness. Humor is often a defense mechanism, and if he's using it more than usual, it could be because he's trying to mask his feelings. Some guys also exhibit unusual body language. He might stand or sit up straighter when you're around, adjust his clothes more often, or even fidget with objects nearby. These actions suggest that he's hyper-aware of his presence around you and wants to look his best. Ultimately, when a guy gets nervous or fidgety around you, it's because he cares about what you think of him. His anxiety isn't a weakness. It's a sign that you mean something to him, and he's trying his best to impress you without messing up. 10. He asks personal questions to know more about you. When a guy asks personal questions to know more about you, it's a clear indication that he's genuinely interested in you on a deeper level. Casual conversations usually stick to surface-level topics, but if he's asking about your thoughts, experiences, and emotions, it means he wants to understand you beyond just small talk. One of the biggest signs to look for is how specific his questions are. Instead of just asking general things like, "How was your day?" he might say, "What's the best part of your day so far?" Or, "What's something you've always wanted to do but haven't yet?" These types of questions show that he's not just making conversation. He's genuinely curious about what makes you who you are. He might also bring up topics related to your past, dreams, or emotions. If he asks things like, "What was your childhood like?" or "What's something that really inspires you?" it's because he's trying to connect with you on a deeper emotional level. He wants to know what shaped you, what excites you, and what you truly care about. Another sign is when he remembers your answers and brings them up later. If you once mentioned that your dream is to visit Italy, and weeks later he casually says, "I saw a video about Rome today and thought of you," it's a sign that he values what you share with him. Remembering small details shows that he's not just listening, he's mentally storing information because it matters to him. You might also notice that he asks about your relationships and preferences. If he asks things like, "What do you look for in a partner?" or "Have you ever been in love?" it's likely because he wants to see if he aligns with what you want. He may also ask about your past relationships, not in a prying way, but out of curiosity, to understand what you've been through and what kind of person you're looking for. Ultimately, when a guy asks personal questions, he's showing that he wants to move past surface-level interactions. He's trying to create a meaningful connection, and his interest in your life, thoughts, and feelings is a strong indication that he sees you as someone special. 11. He brings up future plans with you in them. When a guy brings up future plans that include you, it's a strong sign that he sees you as an important part of his life and wants to keep you in it. Whether he's talking about something happening next week, months from now, or even years ahead, it shows that he envisions a future with you in it, whether as a close friend or something more. One of the most telling signs is how naturally he includes you in his plans. Instead of just saying, "I want to go to that new restaurant," he might say, "We should check out that new restaurant together sometime." This subtle difference means he's already thinking about experiencing things with you, not just on his own. Another clue is when he mentions bigger, long-term plans. If he talks about going on a vacation someday, moving to a new city, or attending a big event in the future and casually says, "You'd love it there," or "We should go together," it's a sign that he doesn't just see you as temporary. He's thinking about you being around for the long haul. Sometimes, he might even test the waters by joking about the future. He might say something like, "Imagine if we were neighbors. How fun would that be?" Or, "I can totally see us still having these random conversations in 10 years. These playful remarks might seem casual, but they reveal that he's picturing a future where you're still a part of his life. If he asks about your future goals and dreams, that's another big sign. If he wants to know where you see yourself in 5 years, or what kind of life you want, it could be because he's trying to see if your futures align. He may even subtly hint at how his plans could fit with yours, showing that he's thinking about compatibility. Ultimately, when a guy consistently brings up future plans with you in them, it's because he doesn't see you as just a temporary part of his life. Whether he's talking about small plans for next weekend, or imagining where you both will be years from now, his words are a reflection of how much he values you and wants you in his future. 12. He notices even the smallest changes in your appearance. When a guy notices even the smallest changes in your appearance, it's a strong sign that he pays close attention to you and genuinely cares about the way you present yourself. Most people don't notice minor details unless they are truly interested in someone, so if he picks up on things like a new hairstyle, a subtle change in makeup, or even a small accessory, it means he's observing you more than you might realize. One of the clearest signs is when he mentions your changes before you even bring them up. If you get a slight trim, switch up your eyeliner, or wear a new pair of earrings, and he immediately says, "Did you do something different with your hair?" Or, "That color looks great on you," it's proof that he's paying attention. Most people wouldn't even notice, but he does, because he's genuinely interested in you. Another strong indicator is when he compliments even the smallest changes. If he notices and appreciates little things, like a new nail polish color, or the way you styled your outfit differently, it shows that he's not just looking at you, he's actively noticing and admiring your effort. He might say something like, "I love that shade on you," or "That jacket really suits you," proving that he's not just making generic compliments, but actually seeing the details. You might also catch him staring at you a little longer than usual before mentioning something. This happens when he's trying to figure out what exactly changed, but knows that something is different. If he hesitates for a moment and then says, "Wait, something's different about you today," it means he's so used to noticing your features that even a small change stands out to him. Sometimes guys will even use this as a way to start a conversation or flirt. He might jokingly say, "Wow, new hairstyle. Who are you trying to impress?" Or, "Wait, you definitely changed something. Don't tell me, let me guess." This playful approach is his way of showing interest while keeping things lighthearted. Ultimately, when a guy notices even the smallest changes in your appearance, it's because he's genuinely paying attention to you, not just as a friend, but as someone who admires you. Whether he vocalizes it with a compliment or just gives you that look of recognition, his attention to detail is a subtle but strong sign that you matter to him.